So here's what's been going on with the whole George Floyd situation. The officer involved, he's been arrested. He's been placed on suicide watch. He's in his cell 23 hours a day. He has a camera on him at all times. Every 15 minutes somebody comes in and checks on him. But plus also his wife filed for divorce. Can't say I blame her. But fuck him. He deserves every bit of misery he gets. And then some. I watched the video. George Floyd being arrested and killed. It was awful. It's a very sad thing to see. And I don't understand it. Officer had him pinned to the ground with his knee on the back of his neck. George Floyd was pleading, saying he couldn't get up. Saying he couldn't breathe. Asking to get up, saying he would get in the back of the police car. He would stop resisting, pretty much. And the officer didn't care. He wasn't resisting anymore. He was just laying there. And you can watch George Floyd and the video just slowly become lifeless. And finally he becomes unresponsive completely. And for 3 minutes the cop still does not get off of him. How did the cop, okay. How, his knee is on the back of this guy's neck. The guy's flailing around. He's moaning, he's in pain, he's talking about everything hurts. He's alive, obviously. How do you not feel him die and become lifeless? How do you not feel him just start to let go? Why would the cop not get off of him when, there are bystanders around talking about, get off of him, you're going to kill him. He's becoming lifeless, he's becoming unresponsive, and the cop ignores him. Everybody ignores him. There's about 4 or 5 officers there in total. Nobody listens to them. And it's a horrible thing to watch. At the end of the video, an ambulance shows up. George Floyd's body is put on the stretcher, whatever. He's obviously lifeless. He's put into the back of the ambulance. He's dead. 47 years old. It didn't have to happen. It shouldn't have happened. He died. Supposedly trying to... he was being arrested for supposedly trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. He didn't have to die. It's an awful, awful, horrible situation. And it shouldn't have happened. And this officer, he deserves the maximum punishment allowed. He deserves anything he gets. He's a horrible human being. Now, of course, he didn't mean to kill him. I don't think he was thinking, oh, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. I don't think that's what was going on at all, but still, how do you not notice he became lifeless? And you just continue to put pressure on his neck to where you kill him. Why? How can you do that? How can you just be so heartless? His death has created outrage across the United States, understandably so. Everybody should be outraged by this. Everybody should be, because it's a horrible thing. Protests have sparked around the country. Violent protests. Actually, let's be clear and honest on what they are. These are riots. These are not protests in any way. Some of them are. Some of them are peaceful protests. A lot of them are violent. They are causing destruction. People have died. Burning down buildings, libraries, looting businesses. Minneapolis, they stormed the police station this cop worked at, overtook it, caught it on fire. And this isn't limited to Minneapolis. This is across the country. Violent protests. Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, Denver, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia are all seeing violent protests. They've all been put on lockdown. They've all been put on curfew. The National Guard is being sent in to enforce this curfew. People were today and last night protesting outside of the White House, attacking news reporters simply for being there, attacking anybody who tried to stop them. The protests outside the White House were so bad and violent, the Secret Service had to respond. They were outside and full-on riot gear, which you never see the Secret Service do. They're always pretty, in the shadows, behind the scenes. They're not like, woo, here we are. The protesters basically tried to storm the White House, pretty much. And they were trying everything they could to get through. They broke through a barrier. The Secret Service had to try to use their handcuffs to rebuild this barrier. They had to use rubber bullets, pepper spray. They threatened to unleash vicious dogs. And I don't understand a large portion of this country. Yes, everybody should be outraged. Yes, protests are reasonable. They're understandable. They should be going on 100%. But there is a big difference between a protest and a riot. I support the protesters. There are people in this country who are supporting the violent rioters. A large amount of people supporting the violent rioters. People I know. All across this country, people are supporting these violent rioters. How ignorant and barbaric human beings, when something horrible happens, reasonable human beings do not react this way. They do not burn down their town. They do not smash cars. They do not kill people. They do not loot. These are not correct responses. In any way, shape, or form, these people are ignorant. And anybody who thinks that this is okay and the correct way to respond, they are equally as ignorant. I have unfriended people on Facebook that I have known for a long time because of their views of this matter. This is the first time I've ever unfriended somebody based on their viewpoints. Because this is just totally fucking ignorant. Something like this really exposes a person's true character and how stupid they really are. I don't need that kind of person in my life. I don't talk to anybody anyway. I don't need them on my friends list. I don't need them around me. They're just a horrible. I don't understand how they can be thinking this. Okay, and the police who are fighting back these rioters are being criticized by this group of people who are on the rioters' side. The protesters, the rioters who tried to storm the White House. There are people in this country who think it was wrong for the Secret Service to respond to that, and for President Trump to say that the Secret Service did a good job defending the White House. They will be using rubber bullets, possibly vicious dogs. There are people in this country who think that that is a horrible thing for this president, for the police force, for the Secret Service, for anybody to do to fight back against these protesters, these rioters. These people are just straight up fucking ignorant. This one person was saying something about it should really bother you when a president threatens to shoot citizens and release vicious dogs during a pandemic for protesting racial inequality. First off, these were rubber bullets. We weren't going to go out there. It's not like the Secret Service was going to go out there with machine guns talking about, I'm going to kill all you motherfuckers. No, that didn't happen. These are rubber bullets. Not going to kill anybody. And it doesn't matter if we're in a pandemic or not. It doesn't matter what they're rioting about. What are we going to do? Let them storm the White House. Let them burn it down. Let them kill the president. Is this what we're going to do? Is that the correct thing to allow to happen? I don't think so. How can any reasonable person possibly think that? Are these people out of their fucking minds? Yeah, people should be upset about this guy being killed by this cop. Absolutely. Everybody should be upset about that. But this is not correct. This is wrong. These are not protesters. This has been just an absolutely horrible fucking year. Right from the beginning. We have the coronavirus. We have this shit. We had the impeachment earlier, which ended up in our favor. But still, it was there, hanging over our heads. We had the economic collapse. And now we have this huge unrest in our country brought on by this fucking asshole cop to add to all the bullshit that's going on during this year. Not just in this country, but around the world. But this has just been an absolutely horrible fucking year. And I wish there was some way we could go back to January. The first month of January. Okay, the first month of this year in January was good. Everything after that has been fucking horseshit. I wish there was a way to go back to January, give this all another try, and see if we could do better. See if there's something else we could do for the outcome of this year, not to lead us to this point. I wish this could have been avoided. This is a horrible fucking year.